Hey, welcome back to Knuckle Sandwich MMA. I have my faithful sidekick, Nando, in the house. And well, it's been 2 weeks since we've had a podcast. We hope you all had a great Thanksgiving with your family. And it was a nice break. There was some other interesting fights, though. Nando, before we begin with the UFC card coming up this weekend, I want to talk a little bit about the PFL card because I thought there were some interesting fights on that too. And the main one, of course, is Kayla Harrison, who was undefeated, and she went against Pacheco, who she already beat twice previously.
Twice.
And it was a good fight, I thought. But I thought that Pacheco was way too strong and her striking was too crisp for Kayla. Made a couple of comments on some of the blog websites, and but I thought it was interesting. I wasn't like happy to see her lose or anything like that, but it was interesting to see how she handled a loss, being undefeated this long. What was your thoughts on? Did you see that fight?
No, I saw the fifth round of it. I was trying to watch it. I didn't realize it was a pay-per-view. But yeah, I watched the fifth round and I was like, well, she's not going to come through with this. And she had already beat her twice, like you said. So I was very surprised when she lost. I think she's going to come back. I think it's good for her. I think, they wanted her to fight Amanda. Amanda lost. She lost. She rattled off some more wins in the PFL. And then maybe come over to the UFC, or maybe they might try to get what was her name? Pacheco?
Yeah. Yeah, she looked good though, that Pacheco. She looked huge too. She much bigger than Harrison, Kayla. But I just thought, when she felt her strength, I think she was surprised by that. And all she could really resort to, because she was getting outstruck, was to try and take her down. And after first few rounds, even though she did good on top, at least for body control, she wasn't doing any damage really to Pacheco on the bottom. And then when she couldn't get her down in the later round, she was taking some pretty big hits to the side of the head while she was up against the cage. So, she just didn't have an answer, man.
Yeah, she's got to figure out some stuff. She was just thinking she was the best and just gonna run through this girl and
Well,
finish this trilogy. And now,
I
go
think
ahead.
that she just didn't really have a lot of competition. The girls in that league weren't she didn't have a ton of competition because she was, I mean, if you run through everybody, you're naturally, that's how you're going to feel, right? It's another one I got to run through. But I think you're right, though. I think she's going to come back better and get her mind straight. Usually, it takes a couple of losses to really send them down the rabbit hole. But I think she'll come back stronger and better. So we'll see. All right. Well, let's get to it, my friend. Oh man, this card is going to be a good card. There's some great fights on here, and I can't really see any that I'm just going, So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way to the top on this one, because it is a really good card, you guys. And it's not pay-per-view. It's it's just on ESPN, I believe. And I can't remember. I think they're fighting this time out of Florida. Is that correct?
Orlando.
Okay. So we'll start from and as we normally do, Nando, there's a fight that strikes your fancy, speak up, and we'll stop and talk about it, okay? All right. Okay. First up, we have Yasmin Yaguri versus Estela Nunez. And that's the first bout on the prelims. Yasmin is from Mexico with a -300, which kind of surprised me to have that big of a gap with a Nunez with a +250. It's not huge, but it's bigger than I would have thought, because I thought these two might be a little closer as far as the odds go. But I'm going to go quick because we got a lot to cover. I'm going to pick Yasmin on this one. What you got?
Well, Yasmin's 23, 9-0. She was in this competition in Mexico called Last Latina Standing, and she fought 3 times in that and won the whole tournament. They don't do
Wow.
tournaments anymore. Estela Nunez is 30, 6-3. She's Team Nunez. I don't know if that's Amanda Nunez. I couldn't really find. She's ATT. She last lost to 205. She's from 1FC. So I'm gonna go with Yasmin too.
Okay.
So
All right.
together in
Next
that
up, we
one.
have Marcelo Rojo from Argentina versus Francis Marshall from the US. I don't see an odds listed on this. What have you got on this one?
I have Marcelo is 34, 16 of 8, 205. Francis is 6-0, contender series winner. He's 23.
Who you got?
I'm gonna go with Marcelo.
All right. That's probably a good bet, but I'm going to take the newcomer. I'm going to take Francis on that one. Next up, we have Natan Levy versus Gennaro Valdez. Levy is from Israel. They don't have too many fighters. I think he may be the only one from Israel in the UFC, which is pretty cool. He's at minus 180. And Gerardo Valdez is a Mexican from Mexico with a plus 155. What do you got on this one?
Gennaro is 10 of 1. He's 30 years old. He's 4 of 5. He has his last loss, but he was on a 10-fight winning streak, which is very good. Nathan is 21, 7 of 1, 4 of 5. He's from Syndicate MMA, and his last fight was a win.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Gennaro.
I am going to go with Gennaro as well.
Who did you go on the fight before this? Was it Rojo or Francis?
I went with Francis.
Okay. And you're going with
By the way, I kicked butt the last card, man. I kicked butt.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, next up we have Tracy Cortez. And she is, I don't know if she's the fiance or the girlfriend of Brian Ortega. Yeah. So she trains out of that camp, which is a good camp. And she's facing Amanda Ribas, who's also a great fighter. We got 2 great fighters here, and the odds are close. We got Tracy Cortez at minus 105 and Amanda Ribas at minus 115. What you got?
Okay, Ribas is 29, 11 and 3, ATT. Last loss was she had a last loss 3 of 5. She fought Caitlin Chokagan, which is really, really good. Tracy Cortez is 10 of 1, 10-fight winning streak. She fights out of Fight Ready, which is what's his name? Cejudo's camp. Okay. So I think Brian Ortega's training was Cejudo now, which is
I did not know that. That's interesting.
So I think that Tracy Cortez, I like Cejudo as a coach. I mean, Cejudo's trying to beat Khabib as coach of the year this year, and they're doing really good against each other. But I'm gonna go with Tracy Cortez.
Ooh-wee! I'm gonna have to. I wish I had a coin because I'd flip one right now. I like both of these fighters; are excellent.
Amanda is ranked right now. I don't know if that pushes you either way, but she's ranked 15. So Cortez is trying to get to that 15 spot.
No, Cortez is at least on the UFC website is ranked as 13.
Oh, she is? I didn't see that.
Yep. So I'm gonna go opposite of you just because I'm gonna go with Amanda Ribas. They're both great fighters, and like I said, I'd flip a coin and feel good about either, whatever side it landed on. But I'm going to go with Amanda just to make it interesting between you and me.
Okay.
Okay, next up, I love these guys, both of these guys. We got Darren Elkins, the Damage, okay?
The worst tattoo in the UFC.
And Jonathan Pierce, he's the young buck coming in, and the spread is huge on this one. Jonathan Pierce is at minus 450. Darren Elkins is at a plus 360. Before I make my pick, give me what you got.
Okay, Jonathan Pierce is 30, 13-4, 4-5. He's 4-fight winning streak. He is also fighting at a Fight Ready camp. There's a lot of people on this card from Fight Ready. Darren Elkins, 38, 27-10, 3-5. Team Alpha Male. His last fight was a win, but he's got a salty record. And he's the guy that's gonna go in there and try to fight. But I'm gonna go with Jonathan Pierce on this one because I don't know. The damage takes a lot of damage
He
for
certainly
me.
does. He certainly does. You know, I saw him fight in Vegas, and I saw him win, but it was one of the bloodiest fights in UFC history. I
Oh,
was there.
really?
Yeah, I was there, and he's got a lot of heart, man. This is another one that logic dictates Jonathan Pierce. He's younger. He's coming out of a good fight camp that has a good ground game as well. Darren Elkins, though, he's got the experience and he's got heart like nobody's business, right? And he doesn't give up, even if that's when he really comes out, is when he's pummeled, you know, when he gets like damaged, that's when he starts, that heart just, you know, it's like that scene out of the Grinch. You remember where his heart breaks out of the thing and becomes 10 times bigger? That's Darren Elkins, man, like the Grinch's heart. When he gets beat up, it just, that heart just goes boom, and then he starts fighting. Gosh, I'm gonna have to go, but I'm gonna have to go with my logic on this one. I love Darren Elkins. He's one of my favorite fighters just because he goes out and does it. But I cannot dismiss Jonathan Pierce's camp because Cejudo is training these dudes to wrestle, man. You know,
He's training him good. I watched an interview where Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson said he trained with him, and he was saying how great he is and how like their fight styles are different. But yeah, he says that Cejudo is a great coach.
yeah.
And
So I'm gonna
to work
go.
with him.
I'm gonna go with Pierce on that one alone. All right, now we got another great. Gosh, this is a great matchup right here. Michael Johnson versus Mark Ducasey. And Johnson is from the United States with a plus 230, with Mark Ducasey from the Congo at a minus 275. Give me some stats on this one.
Ducasey's 29. He's 16-5. He's 3 of the last 5. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. Michael Johnson's 36. 20 of 18, 1-4. Sanford MMA now. His last fight was a loss. Now, Michael Johnson's fought in everybody. He's fought in Khabib. He's fought in, I think he fought Nate Diaz. He's fought all the big names. And he's not going to let this guy just use him as a stepping stone like everybody else. I think he's going to go in there. He's looking a little bit sharper. He was kind of like he needed a resurgence in his career, and I think he's doing well. But you never know. Ducasey's got great kicks, great punches. I like his stance, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm gonna go with Michael Johnson. It's probably a lot.
Oh, you shocked me, man. You shocked me. You like threw the hook in and you pulled it, man. Because I was like, okay, and then you're like, do a reversal. All right, so let me give you my take. Johnson, one exciting fighter. He's not afraid of anything, but his chin is suspect now. When he gets clocked, he gets rocked, and that usually means the end of the story. You know, one of his biggest beatings was from Gaethje, right? I mean, that was a good fight, and then Gaethje just started rocking him left and right, man. And once Gaethje gets in that mode, it's hard to get out. It's hard to beat that guy. Ducasey, he's improved because he was on a losing streak. He was winning, and then he was losing, and I don't know if he switched camps or not. Then he started winning again. But I'm gonna go with him because I think he's got he's a lot fresher. Michael Johnson has the experience, no doubt, but Ducasey is I think he's going to be hungrier than Michael Johnson. But I do agree with you on one statement you made, Nando, and that is Michael Johnson doesn't want to be a stepping stone for anybody. So it's going to be a great fight. But I'm going to go with Ducasey. All right. And next we got another old schooler, man. What's going on here? We got Clay the Carpenter Guida versus Scott Holtzman. And that one's an interesting fight. We got Clay Guida, who is a plus 130, and Scott Holtzman, who is a minus 150. What's your take on this fight?
Holtzman is 39. He's 14-5. He's 2 of the last 5. He's from the MMA lab. He has a 2-fight loss streak right now. He lost to Dariush and Gamrot, which are 2 very, very tough guys. Clay Guida is out of Alpha Male. He's 37-22, which is a lot of fights. He's 2 of the last 5. Last win, his fight with Michael Johnson was great. He, like I said about Frankie Edgar, he's one of those people that has that style that hasn't changed, but he just keeps the same style. It doesn't look as bad as the Frankie Edgar, but I don't know how much longer he can do that style, that punch, 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 try to take you down, punch, 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 punch. It's a.
Do you think though that he got maybe, I don't want to say a missing piece, because he's always been a pretty well-rounded fighter for his being as seasoned as he is. But I guess my question to you is, do you think he's improved in his wrestling and takedowns since being at Team Alpha Male?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a big thing. He hangs out with Chad Mendez, and they have a hunting and fishing show that's really great if you're into that. But yeah, I mean, you can see them sometimes they're out there wrestling in the middle of the woods. Like, I think I think iron sharpens iron, and you have those great wrestlers. I mean, who is the one song Yadong is there? And they still have new, fresh guys there at Team Alpha Male. They're a little fight camp, but I would say, yeah. Now you're pushing me to Clay Guida. What are you trying to do now?
Well, I just
I'm gonna go with Clay Guida.
I think Guida's not a guy that's a quitter at all. I've seen Scott Holtzman. I don't want to say quit. I don't think he's a quitter either, but I've seen him kind of slow down if he starts getting beat up. And Clay Guida's the opposite. He starts going forward even more. Like gets all amped up, man. So Scott Holtzman's fresher, stronger. I'm gonna have to go with Clay Guida on this one, man. Who you got?
I'm going with Clay Guida also. You pushed me towards Clay Guida. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have Angela Hill, who's ranked at number 12. She's a plus 105 versus Emily Ducote, who's ranked at number 13 with a minus 125. What you got on that one?
Ducote's 28. She's ranked 13, like you said. 12 of 6, 4-fight win streak. She's the Invictus strawweight champion. She's American Top Team Oklahoma is her camp. Angela Hill is 14 and 12. She's 205. She's 37. She's from Alliance, which was Dominic Cruz and that, Brandon Vera's camp. She broke her 3-fight losing streak. She's a tough fighter. She went to Singapore for a while. She's trying to fix her Muay Thai. She's trying to get a better stance. That Tisha Torres fight was her fight to win, and she felt kind of like, I'm a better kickboxer, I have a better stance, and I'm just not doing something right. So she's been trying to work on her movement, trying to, so that being said, though, I still think Ducote might have a little more. I don't want to because Angela Hill is like one of my favorite female fighters at that weight class.
Yep.
Yeah, I still think Ducote's winning.
You putting Ducote?
Yeah, who are you going for?
Let me give you my breakdown. I think Angela's biggest weakness, she's one of my favorite female fighters as well, but I think her biggest weakness is weakness. And what I mean by that is her punches She doesn't do a lot of damage with the punches. She's good at moving, but I think her spirit breaks a little bit because she's tagging the girls as she's fighting, but it's not doing a lot of damage. And you can only, you know, when you're not seeing that damage come and you're like, oh, that was a good shot, but here she comes again. It's a little disheartening, you know. And I think she fights a lot out of heart. But I think if she could strengthen her punches, and sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes the tendons, you know, the things that make you throw a hard punch aren't there. But I think if she could gain a little more strength, she's a pretty well-rounded fighter. I think she's okay on the ground, striking, kicking, well-rounded. I just don't think she's that strong. So when the opponent feels that lack of strength or damage, they get more emboldened, and then they start taking more chances because they're not too worried about getting knocked out. So I think it just kind of does this role reversal, and then the opponent has the upper hand or feels that she has the upper hand. So with that being said, and Dakota being a good fighter, she's ranked number 13. I'm going to go with Dakota as well.
Okay, good.
All right,
Do you
another
think it's
one.
The fact that she's not close enough, she's hitting them like right at the end of her punches.
Yeah, that could be it.
She needs to step in a little bit.
Yeah, you may be right. She may be a half step too far out. You may be right on that, because that makes total sense to me. I think you're right. That's good analysis right there, because I couldn't get it. I was just like, I'm not getting it. She looks really in good shape, you know. But
yeah, it's like when she kicks and then she punches, maybe she should punch and then come in with the kick, because maybe she's not close enough to get more of, because I mean, she's a great kickboxer. I mean, you watch her hit the pads, it just doesn't translate in a fight.
I'm gonna agree with you wholeheartedly. I think you just hit the nail on the head. So from now on, you will be Coach Nando.
No.
All right. So next up,
this is a great fight coming out.
The main fight on the prelims. We have another one of my favorite fighters, another old schooler. We got Nico Price versus Phil Rowe. Nico Price comes in at a -140 with Phil Rowe at a +120. Give me your take on this particular matchup.
Nico Price is 33. He's 15-5. He's 2-5. He has the last win, but then he had a 3-fight losing streak. Well, he had a loss, a no contest, and then a loss. Nico Price is very good jiu-jitsu, very, very good stand-up. He's fighting Philip Rowe, which is 32, 9-3, 4-5, 2-fight winning streak. So Philip Rowe, I don't know. Philip Rowe is going to have to take him down. And I'm trying to see if that's who I think it is. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, he's going to have to bring the fight to Nico Price. Nico Price likes to counter, but he's going to have to push him against the cage and not let him enforce his will on Philip Rowe. What is your thoughts?
I think I'm going to go with Nico Price on this one, simply for the fact that I don't know Phil Rowe as far as his fighting technique and style. I may have seen him, but I don't remember seeing him fight. But I do remember that heel kick that Nico Price did from the bottom and knocked out, who was it? He knocked out, oh gosh, it just left me. He knocked somebody out from a kick from the bottom, man. So he's dangerous everywhere. But I do agree. I haven't seen him throw like really good elbows in a clinch, you know, when they're up against the cage. I haven't seen Nico Price do that too effectively. But he's a dog, so I'm going to go with him. Plus, if I don't think he can afford to lose too many more fights in a row. So I think his back's kind of up against the wall. Next up, we have Eric Anders versus Kyle Dacus. Anders is at a +170 and Dacus is at a -200. So that one's kind of sizable. And give me some stats on this, because I can't remember if Dacus won or lost his last fight. Go ahead.
So Eric Anders is 35. He's 14-7. He's 1 win, 1 no contest, and 3 losses. He's from Fight Ready now. Everybody's going over to Cejudo. They want him to help him. This is a guy that definitely needs Cejudo's help. So he looks very cautious when he fights. I was looking at some of his fights, like his fight against what's the one gentleman? I can't remember his name. The kickboxer. Oh, anyways, Kyle Dawkins is 29. He's 11-3. He's also 2-1-1. His last loss. He's very tall and lanky. He had a headbutt in one of his fights. I think it was versus the main event, Kevin Holland, where he headbutted him and then
Yep.
he got him in a choke. And then he won, but then it was a no contest. So I mean, I like Kyle Dawkins. I'm gonna go with Kyle Dawkins because he's lanky. I like his jiu-jitsu. I like the way that he moves. He uses his body well for a jiu-jitsu player, kind of like a Killer B Ben. Now I can't think of his name, but yeah. So I think Eric Anders needs a little more work. This one camp with Cejudo's good, but I think it might help him, because Cejudo's got to see him out there. He's got to see what he does listen to and what he does do that Cejudo's telling him. So I'm going to go with Kyle Dawkins in this fight.
Okay. So my take on this is both of them throw hard punches. But I think Dawkins might have a bit more of a reach. I can't recall. Let me look and see real quick who's got the reach advantage. No, it's only an inch reach advantage, but I think, like you said, the way he moves is a little bit better. Eric Anders, I'm glad he's at Cejudo's fight camp because he does need some work on his ground game. They get him to the ground and he's there for a while. So I'm going to also go with Kyle Dawkins. I just think he's more well-rounded than Anders, and they both need a win though. So that's going to be an important fight for both men. And it's going to be a good fight. So tune in, you guys, to this because it's going to be really great. By the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our content. We would love you guys to do that. We're starting to build our audience, and we appreciate anything that you can do for us. So hit the like button down below. Next up, oh, come on, you guys. Jack Hermanson versus Roman Dolidze. I can't pronounce his name. Dolidze. There you go. We got there's no odds listed on the UFC website, so give me some info on this fight, Mando.
Jack Hermanson is 32. He's ranked 8. He's 23 of 7, 3 of 5. His last win. He has nice grappling. Roland Dolidze is 34, 11 of 1, 4 of 5. He's from AKA. He has a 3-fight winning streak. He has heavy hands. He had that clinch where he had the guy and then he kneed him right in the head and it was over. So, I mean, I like Dolidze. I think this fight is going to be interesting because they have great hands. They're great, like kickboxing, great stand-up. But I think it's going to come down to the clinch of Dolidze and the groundwork of Hermanson. So I'm going to let you pick first because I'm kind of like,
okay. Your analysis is spot on. That's exactly what I was thinking. If they keep it up standing, I'm going to go with Dolidze. If Jack gets to the ground, he's going to win. Okay. I don't know. I've seen Dolidze scramble a little bit, but Jack has got a strong ground game. And the last couple of fights I've seen him, because he went on a losing streak and then started winning again, but his ground game improved greatly. I don't know if he wasn't using it enough and he was trying to strike and getting out struck, but I think he's zoned back into where his strengths are. So I'm going to go with Jack on this one.
Okay, Jack. I'm going to go with Dolidze. Oh, wait. Put the wrong name there.
I didn't convince you this time, huh? All right. Next up, okay, look at this, man. Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlovich. And we got a monster versus a monster on this one. This is going to be, this should have been higher up on the card, in my opinion. But, you know,
Yes.
who am I, right? Tuivasa is at plus 165, so he's the underdog on this fight, with Pavlovich at minus 195. What's your take?
Okay, they're 4-5. Tuivasa is 29, 14, and 4. He's 4-1. He had a 5-fight winning streak until he fought Cyril, and Cyril was like, it was a bad matchup for him. Now Sergey is 30. He's 16-1, 4-5, 4-fight winning streak. His last win was Derek Lewis. I was gonna ask you about this. It says he has the longest reach in the UFC right now. So I don't know exactly. It didn't say exactly how long his reach was, but
I'll tell you exactly how long his reach is. Tai Tuivasa's reach is 75 inches. Sergey's is 84 inches, man.
Jeez, yeah. Okay, so they're both going to move forward on this. It's going to be interesting because it's going to be the straight shots of Sergey versus Tai Tuivasa, which is going to try to he's going to try to get hit. I don't know if that's the greatest idea, but he's going to go in there. He's going to fake a little wiggle or whatever, like he likes to do, and then just start throwing bombs. I don't think this goes past the second round. It might go into the second round, but I don't think this is going to be like, I think they're going to put it all out on the line. And I think I'm going to go with my boy Shuivasa.
Are you?
Because I think I'm going with the shoe master.
All right. Well, this one's an easy one for me.
Who are you going?
I'm going to go with Sergey because they both throw bombs, right? But here's the difference. Sergey does not, he keeps his chin far away. Tai Tuivasa, that's the one shot that he's got. He doesn't have a ground game. He can't wrestle that well. He got a knockout power like nobody's business. But the way that I've watched Sergey, because especially with that 9-inch reach, come on, man, he's going to be able to tag him. The only way that his Tuivasa can get in there and get that uppercut, get that knockout, is he's going to have to clinch up. But I don't see Sergey doing that. I see him staying at a distance and picking him apart and then knocking him out as soon as he rocks him. And I don't think it's going to go the distance either. I don't know if it's going to be second round or not, but that's how I see the fight going down. So you're wrong on this one, Mando. You are wrong.
We'll see. We will see.
All right. Next up, we have Matthias Nicolau versus Matt Schnell. And Matthias is at minus 365 to Schnell's plus 300. So there's a sizable gap there as far as the odds go. What's your thoughts on this one?
Matthias is 29. He's 17-2. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He's from Jackson MMA. He has a great guillotine, but Matt Schnell is 32. He's 16-2. He's 2-1-2 of the last 5. He's AKA. He has great grappling. I like that he does punches and bunches. You know, he has a wide stance. He has that. He comes forward, bunch, and then he has that overhand that he sets up for the kick to come. He has a great like combos that he does, and then he's not afraid to take people to the ground. You know what I mean? And I like Schnell more in this one because I think he's planning on going all 3 rounds, and he's gonna try to win this on points. But if he gets the opportunity, he's gonna knock him out.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with Matthias on this one. I think he punches harder, and I've seen Schnell get rocked before. I mean, anybody that gets punched in the head hard is going to get rocked. But when it starts to become, you know, they refer to it as the glass jaw, right? When it starts to become kind of commonplace that you're getting rocked in every single fight, You know, it only gets worse from there. And Chanel's been in the fight game for a while now. I like him. I like his style. He's super exciting, but I think Matthias is going to be too strong for him. I think he's going to outstrike him, and I'm predicting a finish. So I'm going to go with Matthias Nicolau on this one.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have the biggest odds differential in the whole card. We've got Brian Barberena versus Rafael Dos Anjos. And Brian Barberena is at plus 420 to Rafael's minus 540. What you got?
Brian Barberena is 33, 18 and 8, 4-5. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. He beat Matt Brown, Robbie Lawler. He's very patient, good hands. Rafael Dos Anjos, though, is 38. He's 31 and 14, 205. His last fight was against Rafael Fiziev. He had fights with Leon Edwards, Michael Chiesa, the who's who, but I don't know if this is Rafael Dos Anjos' last fight if he doesn't win this. You know, this is a tough fight. Like a lot of these older guys on this fight card, I don't know if we're gonna have multiple like retirements, but I don't know. I think Rafael needs to win this to stay relevant. But if he doesn't win it, I don't know what they do with him after it, because he's fought in everybody. He's lost to a lot of the big contenders in that top 5. So, but he's not gonna go down easily. I think he might win this one.
Okay, so the last time Barberena fought was in Vegas when I went down there, and he won. So that was cool. So Dos Anjos, I don't think that he'll get cut if he loses, and I don't think he'll retire if he loses. And the reason I say that is because he makes a lot of money. He makes a lot of money in his fights, man, because he's been there so long, and he puts on his exciting matches. He makes good coin, and so I don't think any one of those will happen. I think maybe it could be if he gets run through. You know, if Barberena goes out there and finishes them in the first 2 or 3 minutes, and does it emphatically and knocks him dead cold or puts him to sleep. Yeah, that could happen. But I think if it's even close, whether if he loses or not, he'll still fight on at least one more time. But we come to the main fight of the main card, and we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland wanted this fight. Stephen Thompson didn't at first, and then he did. So, however, those negotiations went in the background is quite interesting. But we've got Stephen Thompson at plus 120 and Kevin Holland at a minus 140. What do you got on this one?
Stephen Wonderboy is ranked 6th. He's 16 and 6, 205. There's 2 losses, Bel Mohammed and Gilbert Burns. He's training with Sarah Longo now. Kevin Holland's 30, 23 and 8, 2-1 and 2. Travis Lutter, MMA. He was on a 2-fight winning streak, but then he fought Hamzat, which he did a very big favor for the UFC. And I think this is why they gave him Wonderboy, because he didn't want to grapple anybody. He said he's going to retire. He doesn't want to do this if they're going to give him grapplers, which isn't the right mindset. You should be out to fight anybody. But I mean, Hamzat was a really bad matchup. He did better than I thought he would, but yeah, it's a bad matchup, especially if you're not ready for somebody. But Wonderboy, his stance and the way he fights is getting a little more predictable because his movement isn't as fast as it once was. So he uses those kicks like a jab, but I'm just thinking when I watch it, I'm like, he's he's setting himself up a little more, and he's not being as exciting as he once was. So we'll see. What do
Okay.
you think?
I've got I guess my breakdown is, my analysis is a little similar to yours, for a couple of different reasons though. I don't see Stephen Thompson as, he doesn't seem to have grown that much as far as learning new skills and different things like that. Like you said, he fights pretty much the same way all the time. He's pretty effective with that front kick, but I think a lot of fighters, if you don't see somebody evolving, okay, with their techniques, or new tricks, new abilities and skills, then you start to learn, okay, I can catch that kick, or I can do this, or I can do that. And we've seen in his last few fights more people taking him down. He was one of those guys that was really hard to take down because he would just evade, and get out of the way. But now he's getting down, and I don't see him having a super strong ground game because he relies so much on that karate stance and the kicks, and the long. He does have a long punch, but so does Kevin Holland. Let me see what their reach is here. Yeah, Kevin Holland's got an 81-inch reach to Stephen Thompson's 75-inch. Now that's a little, Holland shouldn't make a mistake of saying I've got this long reach, because the way that Stephen Thompson stands, in my opinion, adds inches to that reach, because you think he's way back here, but then that big step, that big, the way he stands, and then he extends that fist out, man, that's just like right there. You know what I mean? And I'm just looking out the window. The cops are in my cul-de-sac. They're back. Anyway, so that's, that can be, a little bit of a false, safety that Holland may look at. I'm losing my word here, but I do think that Holland is very versatile, and I know he's been working on his ground game. I predict that this fight will not stay on the feet the whole fight. I predict that Holland's going to take him down at some point, because I know, especially after being humiliated by Hamzat, because he, in his interviews, he's very frustrated. He said, I just read it just before the podcast today, that he shouldn't have taken that fight, and if he loses and all these things happen, I may retire again and smoke weed and play video games for the rest of my life. I don't believe that, but I do think that he was kind of humiliated by that fight, just because he didn't really know what he was getting into. But I think because of that, he's upped his wrestling game. Even before that, to prepare for that fight, for the short period of time that he knew about it, he was already working on his wrestling game to get that up to speed. And he is pretty good at scrambling on the ground, because we've seen him in some precarious situations where he got out of it, just out of will and twisting his body and getting out of those chokes and stuff like that. Whereas I don't see Stephen Thompson being able to do that on the ground. So I think it will be to his advantage. They're both going to be throwing kicks, but like you said, Stephen Thompson is older. How old is he? What's his age?
No, I didn't write it down.
I think he's like 40, isn't he?
I think he is 40. And this might be his last fight, because I don't know if you read this. Jack Black is gonna walk down his walkout with him. I don't know if you know, Jack Black sings a song called Wonder Boy, and Jack Black is walking, and it's weird because Jack Black, it's in Orlando. I don't think Jack Black is from Orlando. And Wonder Boy's from South Carolina, I think. So maybe that's close to Florida. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be able to beat any of those people. I don't think he even got a chance to fight Kamaru. He's fought everybody else.
No, he won't get that chance. So are you talking Jack Black, the actor, or Jack Black, the pirate?
No, Jack Black, the actor. And Jack Black's got some great kicks and some great, you know,
Oh, yeah. What was the movie he was in?
he was in School of Rock.
No, the wrestling movie.
Oh yeah, not Nacho Libre.
Actually.
So yeah, man, I don't know. I found that to be weird. It's Jack
He
Black
needs,
and that's
dude, he needs to come out walking with Wonder Boy dressed as Nacho Libre, man. That'd be crazy. Okay, so before we end the show today, you guys, by the way, we want to thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Nando and I always have a great time in breaking the fights down for you. And so now Nando keeps adding to his resume. He was the stats man, and now he's Coach Nando. I fear what's going to be next. Okay, so Nando, stop making me look so bad, bro. But I guess I wanted to ask you, because we talked about doing other things on the show, not just fight cards. And Nando has a niece, and I want you to talk a little bit about her, because he sent me these links of some of her matches, and wow, what an athlete that she is. And I wanted to ask you, Nando, when can we get her on the show? Because I think she'd be fascinating for a whole hour.
when would be the best time? Do we want to do it in a normal Thursday slot? Do we want to do it on a Monday?
Well, I will work with whatever she's available as far as her schedule goes.
Mhm.
I don't know when she can take the time to do that. If it's on a normal Thursday at 10, that'd be great for me. If we have to do it on a weekend because she works or something, we can work around that. I just need to get her booked in so we can get this thing going, because I was just fascinated by her matches and the quality, the level of skill set that she has. But tell our viewers a little bit about who she is and what she's accomplished, and
Yeah,
then
her
we'll
name
get
is
on the show.
Kirsten Bush. Her whole family, her and her two brothers and her sister were all wrestlers for, I want to say, I'm not sure exactly what high school, but they placed very high. They were a wrestling family. They traveled all over. They went to the Freak Show in Las Vegas. They went to wrestling tournaments in North Dakota, which there's a lot, some in the East Coast. She was an alternate, I think, for the U.S. Olympic team. She was trying to get on the Olympic team. She had some injuries, I think, so she never made it. But yeah, she's been in wrestling for as far as I've known my wife, which is like 7-8 years, and I think she's been in it for maybe longer. Yeah, she's very decorated. She's wrestled the who's who of all these girl wrestlers, and in her age bracket, so maybe like I think she's 21, maybe 22. Yeah, she's very interesting. I enjoyed talking with their family about, like, how they train, their food, what a normal training week is, 2 a days. I think it'd be interesting to talk to her about that, about weight cutting, about
Mm-hmm.
how they do. Because one of my biggest questions is, when FC does weight cutting where they do like a urine test to see how, if you're like not depleting your body of water. And I guess they got that from wrestling. So I would like to know if that's like how that works.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got probably 100 questions for her, and it'd be great. So get with her and let me know, and then we'll schedule her. But guys, we want to bring this to you and we'll have her on the show because I think she's going to bring some really cool insight. Also, and part of my interest in it is, what do UFC or MMA fighters go through as far as weight cutting and all that kind of stuff, and the sacrifice and the commitment that it takes to be a professional athlete. I know she's not a professional yet, but she can be. You know, I'd love. Why don't you recommend her to Fight Ready? Let's give Cejudo a call and see if we can get her over to his camp. You know, I'll ring him up. Me and Cejudo are like this.
Yeah.
Well, we're like this. Well, we're like that. Anyway,
Cejudo's supposedly next for Aljo.
Okay, let's do it. I'm down for that. That'll be great. Anyway, guys, we want to thank you for watching Knuckle Sandwich MMA. Nando, you got any parting words you want to say?
This is a great fight card. The next week is for the light heavyweight title. Yuri's not fighting. He has a very bad injury. They offered it to Glover. Glover didn't want to fight. What's his name? Mohammed.
Bilal Muhammad?
No. What's his name? Uncle Alif.
Oh yeah.
Uncle Alif and Blakovic are fighting. They offered him Uncle Alif. He said it was a total different fight than he wanted, and he wasn't going to take it.
Yeah, I think those sons are.
And now that's the main event. Patty. Yeah, and then Patty
made a
Pimblett
mistake
is
turning that down, man. I think you made a mistake turning that down. But yeah, that's a good card. Patty Pimblett's on the card. That's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great card. So there we go, guys. All right, Nando. We'll see you on the flip side. And the rest of you guys, stay cool, stay in school. Okay. Yeah. Remember Knuckle Sandwich, man. And like and share our content. We would appreciate it. All right. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.